Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A Perfect Swing podcast, where we explore lessons in purpose, perseverance, and preparation from the fairway of life. I'm your host, Ashante Epps, LPGA golf professional, as well as CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing Inc. And today we're discussing a topic that every golfer wants to answer to. How do I lower my score? Many golfers believe they need a longer driver distance or some unfathomable perfect swing, but sure, always considering more distance just to shoot lower scores. And while those things can help, the truth is that most golfers leave strokes on the course because of poor decision making, short game mistakes, and inconsistent fundamentals. So today, I'm sharing the 5 most important things every golfer needs to know if they truly want to lower their scores. They are: one, improve your short game; two, eliminate penalty strokes; three, practice smart course management; four, become a better putter; five, strengthen your mental game. Now, notice what's missing. I didn't say you need to hit the ball 300 yards. I didn't say you needed a perfect swing. You don't need expensive equipment. I didn't mention that. What you need is consistency, discipline, and smart decision making. Those are the same qualities that help people succeed in business, leadership, and life. So let's dive deeper into each of these things. So, the first thing, master the short game. If you're serious about lowering your score, start by looking at your game inside, like say the 100 to 130 yards. And that's pretty much dependent upon um, where you are as a player. Looking at your game, if you play a par four, take an average of what your second shot is into the green for that par four, and that's about your distance. So depending on your skill set, it could be 100 yards, it could be 130, it could be about 150. But somewhere in that sweet spot, it's that approach shot or second shot into the green on a par four. Many amateur golfers spend a majority of their practice time. You get to the driving range and you're hitting the drivers and long irons because it's fun and you can see it fly. But the reality is that that is not what's going to help you lower your scores. Approximately 60 to 70% of your shots occur within that 100 yardish range, depending on your individual situations. So think about it. You may only hit your driver 12 to 14 times in a round, but you'll chip, pitch, putt on just about every hole. And a golfer can really be consistent around the course, understanding or really getting up and down, as we call it, meaning up on the green and then get the ball down into the hole. You can really lower your scores um, just by focusing on that particular area. So when we look at a practical tip, spend at least 50% of your practice time on putting, chipping, pitching, bunker play, and then find that average distance for your second shot going into a par four and practice that. That's where you want the majority of your practice to be. If you improve your short game or your approach shots, you are going to see results immediately. You're going to be able to see the difference in your scoring, and especially if you're tracking those statistics. And I'll do a session on tracking your statistics as well. Actually, I will put a link in the video in the chat information for a video that actually talks about where I share about tracking your information there. And just note when we talk about that from a leadership perspective and in golf, success often comes from mastering the small details, right? Those are the things that most people overlook. So the fundamentals win on and off the course. The second thing is eliminate penalty strokes. One of the fastest ways to lower your score is to stop giving away strokes because we do it often. Many golfers, we focus on making birdies when we should really be focused on avoiding disasters. Penalty strokes occur when you're trying to be the hero or the shero. So when you're hitting balls out of bounds, your balls are going into water hazards, balls are becoming unplayable, you're violating rules and getting penalty strokes. I mean, a single penalty stroke can turn a hole that may be a par or bogey into a double bogey or worse very quickly. So when you're facing a risky shot, just ask yourself, what's the smartest play? Not the most impressive one. Sometimes laying up is the best decision to from a scoring perspective because that is the whole point of the game. It's scoring. Professional golfers understand that course management saves strokes, but sometimes as amateurs, we're looking from an ego perspective or trying to hit shots that we've never hit or that we've only hit once, and that is what is really detrimental to your score from a long-term perspective. Now when we think about this from a leadership perspective, smart leaders know that avoiding major mistakes is often more valuable than taking unnecessary risks. Consistency beats recklessness any day. That is in golf and leadership. The third point is learn course management. One of the largest myths in golf is that the best player is always the one to hit the ball the farthest. Not true. Many golfers will with average distances will shoot better scores just because they manage the course intelligently. They know what their strengths are. And they're okay with using those strengths because it's for them and not comparing themselves to anyone else. Just note that the average men's driver distance is between 215 and 225 yards, and the average women's distance is between 145 yards and 170 yards. So, thinking about those large numbers, we're imagining what the average distances are for players, but I wanted to put that in there because we have to be realistic but also understand where we're going there. And just know golf is about playing the game, not about hitting balls. So you have to focus in on course management. A golf course hole is designed for you to tee off and hit the fairway. On your next shot, if it's a par four, hit the green. If it's a par five, you got two additional shots to get to the green. And then they're going to assume that you're going to putt twice. So that is the flow. Fairway, green, two putts, whether it's a four or five. So that's what you want to follow. If you're just out there striking the ball and you're not following that cadence or you're not trying, your goal isn't to follow that cadence, you're just hitting balls. It doesn't matter. And so when I say course management, it is really about understanding that, listen, you want to know when to be aggressive. You want to know when to play it safe. Understand what your strengths are, understand what your weaknesses are. Avoid those shots where you cannot consistently execute because while you may hit that shot 1 out of 100 times, the question is, will this shot be that one time? Now, so let's say you have about 180-yard shot over the water. That's typical, right? Now, can you hit it? Yeah, maybe. Can you hit it consistently? That's the real question. And the smart play may be to lay up. There's no wimping in that. That is called course management. You lay up and then maybe hit a wedge shot to the green. Hopefully you hit it close enough in one putt or two putt, par, bogey, either way. But taking a penalty, having to take a drop out of the water, that could be a triple bogey easily, right? So you want to play smart while you're out there. So play to your strengths, not your ego. Golf rewards patience. Remember that. Golf rewards patience and strategy. And when we think about this from a leadership perspective, the best leaders don't make decisions based on pride. They make decisions based on probability and outcomes. Okay? All right. The fourth thing, improve your putting. Putting is the great equalizer. It just flat out. Putting is the great equalizer. You don't have to be the strongest golfer to become the best putter. Most golfers lose strokes because they one, three putt too often, misread greens, leave putts short, or struggle with distance control. All of that is imperative. The fastest way to improve your putting isn't making more long putts. It's eliminating three putts. So, say for instance, if you have a 45-foot putt, of course you want to try to make it the first time, but you also want to ensure that you only putt twice. So you don't want to hit it so far past that you don't have one putt back to get it in the hole. So you want to think about ensuring that you're leaving yourself a manageable second putt. So when we think about it from a practical standpoint, you want to focus on speed control. Your goal should be to leave every long putt. Well, first of all, your first goal is to get it in. However, the second thought is if you don't get it in, leave it within a 3-foot circle around the hole. If you can consistently do that, you dramatically reduce your three putts, which every stroke counts. One practice drill that you can use if you go out to a putting green and take four tees, five, six, how many, but place a circle around that hole, but each tee being 3 feet away from that circle. I mean, from that hole, make a 3-foot circle around the hole, and then practice putting from 20 feet out, from 30 feet out, from 40 feet out. And the objective is to make sure one, you want to try to make the putt. Two, if you do not make the putt, make sure that it stays within that 3-foot circle that you've created around the hole. And that way, when you're in real playing situations, again, you're trying to make the putt. But the second thing is that if you don't make the putt, you leave yourself with a 3-foot putt or less, and then you hopefully that's a putt that you're going to make. So you'll practice making those 3-foot putts as well too. Are you interested in making a difference in a child's life as well as the golf industry as a whole? If so, I would like to invite you to be a resource for the A Perfect Swing Foundation. In the A Perfect Swing Foundation, we have our 501c3 nonprofit youth initiative where we introduce youth to the game of golf as a youth development tool in their personal lives. We hone their communication, leadership, and networking skills. So when we think about the golf industry, oftentimes we think about tour players, but the golf industry has careers in every imaginable field that you can think of. And we want to ensure that we expose our youth to that. So we would ask you to consider providing a monetary donation. But in addition, we would love for you to volunteer to be a mentor, sharing your skill set, sharing your job, sharing your roles and responsibilities as a knowledge, as a tool to our youth so that they can understand and get a feel for the various careers through mentorship. Additionally, when we look at the needs in our community, whether it's a monetary donation or just providing some of your skill sets to the organization, that is just as valuable. So whether you're an attorney and you can review legal documentation for us, or you're in the administration field and you can do some clerical work for us, or if you're in the technology field and you can provide some technology services, all of that allow us to continue to pour into the lives of our youth. And I'm going to tell you, I would be so appreciative. You can find out more information about us on our website at www.aperfectswing.net. Again, that's www.aperfectswing.net. And to make it easier, you can click on the link below. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. When we think about all of this and we look at it from a leadership perspective, sometimes success isn't about perfection. It's about consistently putting yourself in position for the next opportunity. So again, that putting reflection, you have that long putt. You're making sure that either one, you're trying to make the putt, but if not, you leave yourself in a good position for the second shot. The fifth and final thing is golf it's a very mental sport. I'm sure you probably heard it a lot. It's absolutely true. You can have a long drive and still shoot a high score. Why? It could be something as simple as your emotions getting out of control. Oftentimes, you have one bad hole, one bad shot, one missed putt, and it could ruin an entire round. That is here. Elite golfers understand a simple truth. You cannot change the shot you just hit. You can only control the next one. So you got to be able to let it go. And a practical way to alleviate, or shall I say, assist with that is to develop a post shot routine. So just like we talk about a pre shot routine, you develop a post shot routine. Ask yourself, wow, what happened? So what could I have done? What can I learn from that particular shot? And then, okay, so what's my next shot? But you have to move forward. You cannot replay mistakes in your head. You cannot criticize yourself while you're out there. You cannot dwell on it. You have to move forward because dwelling on a past bad shot will put you in a situation that you don't want to be in. It could literally, again, have one shot kill an entire round for you. So you want to stay away from that. So really looking at how do you respond and react after a shot. So that post-shot routine to keep you encouraged, to keep you motivated, to help you see what you did that you need to learn from, because you need that as well too. But you let it go and you move forward. Okay. Now, when we think about that from a leadership perspective, great leaders recover quickly from setbacks. Period. Resilience is often the difference between success and failure. It happens. You have to be able to bounce back in every situation. Golf, life, career, home, all of that great thing. So that is a leadership and a self-leadership perspective. Okay. So remember, if you want to lower your scores, focus on these 5 areas. 1, improve your short game. 2, eliminate penalty strokes. 3, practice smart course management. 4, become a better putter. And 5, strengthen your mental game. And remember, we noticed what was missing. You don't need to hit the ball 300 yards. You don't need a perfect swing. You don't need expensive equipment. You need consistency, discipline, and smart decision making. Those are the same qualities that help people succeed in business, leadership, and life. So as we wrap up today's session, I want you to remember this. Golf is not a game of perfect. It's a game of managing mistakes better than everyone else. The golfer who learns to think strategically, stay patient, and focus on the fundamentals will always outperform the golfer chasing perfection. This week, choose one of the 5 areas and commit to improving in that area during your next practice session or your round of golf. Remember, small improvements create big results over time. So give yourself some grace and go get it. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the A Perfect Swing podcast. To learn more about the A Perfect Swing organization and programs, you can visit us at www.aperfectswing.net. You can learn more about our leadership workshops, golf networking events, and youth development initiatives. Please be sure to subscribe and share this episode with a fellow golfer that can benefit from lowering their scores. And follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for more golf and leadership insight. I'm Ashante Epps, reminding you that success in golf and success in life both require purpose, perseverance, and preparation. Until next time, keep swinging with purpose.